Hey everyone. So I know once again lighting's terrible, but I just went through your quizzes, and if the majority of you got a question wrong on the quiz, I gave you the points back. So you'll see at the bottom it says like fudge points or something. So those are the points you got back. Um, so I know we went over learning and memory. This is going to be the thinking, reasoning, language, intelligence, and an exam 2 blueprint because I think that the one up on Blackboard is doesn't have the right date on it. So with the intelligences and language and all of that, the things I would focus on is the different types of intelligences. And what I mean by that is Sternberg versus Gardner. I'm a huge fan of Gardner. You can choose who you feel to go with more. But Sternberg's really focused on, you probably heard of book smart and street smart. That was his ideal, was you could be book smart, you could be street smart, you could be creative smart, you could have all three, you could have a mix. And I would know the terms analytical and practical instead of book smart and street smart. But what made Gardner so different is the theory of multiple intelligences. And the theory is that you could be really good at math, but not so much at English. Or you could be really good at spatial awareness. So packing the trunk of my car. But maybe not so much on music smarts. And I thought that was, I think his ideal helps us when we're talking about things that we're good at academically, things we're good at with our job. Maybe why we choose the career that we choose is maybe because of where our intelligence is. Maybe we're really good at communicating with others. That would be interpersonal. Maybe we're good at knowing ourselves. That would be intrapersonal. So those are some things I would know within that. I would also know that we use the Stanford-Binet intelligence test. But the unfortunate thing with that is that it really only works with children. Once we get 30, 40, 50, it doesn't necessarily give us an accurate answer. And also, it might be difficult for those who maybe don't speak English or don't speak the main language, and that's when we have a culture fair test. So that's important. Also, the way that we break down our phonetics and the way that we speak. So, for example, with the morphemes and the phonemes and the syntax and the extralinguist information, typically when we're communicating, it's not necessarily what we say, but it's how we say it. And I remember one of the courses I took in undergrad, human communication, we learned that, you might, but 90% of what we understand or what we take from a conversation is really how it was said, not necessarily what was said. So I know that if I'm standing and I'm talking to, let's see, who was I just writing down? Let's say I was talking to Kylie, and she's talking to me, and I'm kind of just like this. And then I go on my phone, and I'm going to go text people. That's showing I'm not interested in her. Or if I'm talking to her, and I'm talking to her in this kind of tone, she's going to pick up on the tone, not necessarily what I'm saying. So it's really important that we understand, the way that we're standing in our body language when we're communicating with others. So that's important. I'm trying to think of, because I'm not looking at the slides. So I really like the intelligences. Of course, I know this section of slides was a big hunk because it's 2 or 3 chapters together. Things that make a lot of sense together should be together. For the purpose of your exam, which is due on the 21st, it's all cognitive psych. So it's and the states of consciousness. So states of consciousness, learning, memory, in this section, the thinking, reasoning, language, intelligences. States of consciousness, I would know those brain waves. I would know the sleep disorders. I know I kind of give you guys little tidbits in the lectures of things that I find are particularly more important than others. For learning and memory, I would know the operant conditioning, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. I would know those. I would know Pavlov's study. 100% know that's on there. I would know the intelligences, Sternberg and Gardner's multiple intelligences. I would know how we test for intelligence. I would know, I'm trying to think. I would know culture fair tests. I would know, like I said, those morphemes, phonemes, that kind of breakdown. I don't think there's any shaping and chaining. For memory, I would know the different types of memory. I would know the amnesias, like the retrograde and the antegrade amnesia. The limbic system once again comes up because it came up in states of consciousness, it came up in memory. So I would know those. I would know that limbic system. Know it. I'm trying to think of what else was particularly important with this exam. There is some drug use questions like tolerance and withdrawal. I believe there is stimulants and depressants. And anything, Broca's area, Wernicke's area, because it relates to language. So I would know things from prior sections that pop onto here that relate, because Broca and Wernicke's does come up again in the language chapter, because Broca's is for speaking. Think of Hodor from Game of Thrones, and Wernicke's is for understanding. So if you don't know those by now, I would know that. You know what? Let me pull it up really quick. Sorry, I'm on a different computer. Exam 2. Oh, and for those of you who have been sending me your papers, the biggest thing I'm noticing right now is they are not in APA format. So I will still look at some of your rough drafts. So, like I said, the stages of sleep is on here. Positive reinforcement, sleeping, normal distributions on here. Limbic system already said, sleep disorders, amnesia, intelligences, negative reinforcement, ways that we learn. So like that distributed practice and the mass practice. So mass practice would be cramming. Distributed is learning a little bit over time, the way that you should be studying. Miller's number, or a magic number, Miller's theory. The fact that your phone number is 7 digits. But I'll take either name. You don't have to give me both if you remember one over the other. Both work. This one I think I have set up completely in like an essay format, so it won't give you a grade. This way you're not having like little like panic attack that you got an 18. But if you can describe something for me. The other thing I want to clarify when it comes to like this exam is read the questions and also use the exam to help you out. So for an example, there is state-dependent learning and context-dependent learning. So typically, if you were to take my class in face-to-face, when you pick a seat and you've been there for about 3 or 4 days, that's your seat. Reason is, with context-dependent learning, you learn better in the spot that you've learned the material. So if you're moving from seat to seat to seat to seat, according to that theory, you won't do as well as if you sit in the same seat. A state-dependent learning means that you're in the same state of mind. So not that any of you are doing this, but if any of you are learning material while you are in an altered state of mind, this theory says you should continue to be in the same state of mind when taking an exam. Yep, told you that one. So Pavlov, there's memories on here. Another thing with this particular chapter, since I'm looking at this. So there's an effect that our IQ is increasing every 10 years. I would know what that effect is called. And what they're actually seeing, your book doesn't talk about this, but current studies are, is that your brain is actually rewiring differently than the way that your parents or your grandparents are. So for example, my mom is 60, and when she tries to look something up on Google, she gets so frustrated because what she's looking for isn't the first answer. But I'm 31. You guys are probably 18, 19, 20-ish. And a lot of you, when you look up something, you can find it pretty much the first or the second. Because our brain is wired in a way that we know how to search for things and the terms that are going to find us our answer, not necessarily with our older generations. So that's a fun fact. Just going through PEMDAS. Oh, there is people on here. I see B.F. Skinner and Pavlov. But I would take your time with the exam. I know that on the syllabus there are dates. Just because you don't have something in on the 21st, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, and dock points for it. I put dates on there to keep you guys accountable to, this way you're not spending the night before the class is over trying to get everything done. So it was trying to help you, especially if life gets in the way. Like I know one of your students, one of your classmates, their father has passed away. So if things aren't getting done on time, that's fine. If you get called into work, because I'm a nurse, COVID, I can get called in and I have to drop everything and go to work. And sometimes my schoolwork doesn't get done. So as long as you're keeping me in the loop of what's going on in your life and you're kind of staying up to date, that works for me. But I might check up on you because I might just want to make sure you're not going MIA and you're not struggling. So I'm just giving you guys all the information, but you guys can take your time with the material. Fluid intelligence, parts of the brain, types of memory again. Sorry. So, and like usual, if you see a question like question 42 that is a 0-point question, it means that's your extra credit question. So I'm going to see if it'll let me send this to you as a file instead of a YouTube document. And hopefully this will be helpful for you. I should be reachable this weekend. As of now, I'm on call, but I should be reachable this weekend if you need me regarding your exam or any other questions, comments, concerns. Otherwise, you guys enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.